In the last 3 years, actually, governance in Delhi has been really low. Yeah. The roads are broken, the sewer lines are overflowing, the colonies are in bad shape, and there is garbage everywhere. Now, these are things that actually matter to the middle class.
Diptiman, the Aam Aadmi Party's Durgesh Pathak is leading with 4,553 votes, and BJP's Kartar Singh Tanwar is leading with 3,463 votes from Chhatarpur. Diptiman, someone spoke about the budget and how the Aam Aadmi Party sort of banged on its freebies. Now, how do you see all the three parties using the three models of governance for campaigning?
Look, everybody was throwing money at the voter in these elections. If Aam Aadmi Party was giving 2,100 to women, then BJP promised 2,500. So did Congress. And BJP also said that we'll continue all the schemes that Aam Aadmi Party already has, even though BJP has attacked opposition parties earlier and mocked their freebies, calling them revdies. But I think what has happened in these elections is, in all the noise over, free electricity and free pani and bus rides in government schools and hospitals, which goes on to benefit the underclasses, right, the poor, and how the poor come out and vocally support the Aam Aadmi Party. What people forget is that a large section of the middle class has been supporting Aam Aadmi Party quietly.
Right.
Even though it has got very little from Aam Aadmi Party, but it has had a certain amount of faith in the party and in the leadership of Arvind Kejriwal. Let's remember that Arvind Kejriwal rose from the 2012-13 India Against Corruption campaign, right, the Anna Hazare campaign, which was largely very, very popular among the middle classes, because they were looking at, okay, there is a churn in Indian politics which is coming. There is somebody who is rising against corruption, against VIP politics, and somebody who is self-made, like most middle class people are. That this guy is an outsider. He's coming from he's not cut from the same cloth as Congress and BJP, and this guy is one of us. He's an IIT and he's an IRS officer, comes from a middle class family, he used to live in Kaushambi. Everything connected with the middle class, and even when he became the chief minister, he said that I will travel in my Wagon-R and I will not take an official vehicle. And for the longest time he kept staying in Kaushambi. So all of this connected to the middle class, and there was a quiet support, silent support that Arvind Kejriwal has always enjoyed among Delhi's middle class. I think that has shifted this time.
But why? I mean, because if it's a model of freebies and for the common man it's always roti, kapada and makan, but why would it shift this time?
Look, the middle class, as I said, from these freebies, the middle class is not sending its children to the government school. So it doesn't matter to the middle class how great the government schools are. The general middle class family has 2 ACs in the house. So those 200 free power units actually don't matter to them so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though they also get rebate, but it does not matter to them. It does not matter to their monthly budget so much. What matters to them is the faith that they had in Arvind Kejriwal as an honest man, as a person who was from among them, a middle class guy who has challenged power, who has challenged traditional ways of politics, and has risen from the ground, and is talking the language. In fact, if you remember, he spoke the language of the middle class when he started out.
Correct.
All the concerns that middle class has about the moribund politics of this country.
Correct.
He spoke that language, and that is why he became so popular. And there was a wave in 2 elections we saw a wave for Arvind Kejriwal. if you're winning more than 60 seats in an election, you're not just winning on the votes of the poor.
Yeah.
You know, you are definitely getting, I mean, Delhi is almost an entirely urban state. So you have a very, very huge middle class here. So obviously you're winning a sizable chunk of the middle class votes.
Right.
And these votes are coming for the faith that they have in your brand of politics and not necessarily what you're giving them. I think that faith with two things. The allegations of corruption against Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
And there's a sense that eventually Arvind Kejriwal has come around and embraced the traditional politics, you know, that he once spoke against. And like one of the middle class voices that I was when I was on the ground and said, yaar ye bhi औरों की तरह निकला.
Oh, the disappointment.
The disappointment. ये भी औरों की तरह निकला. So now there are allegations of corruption against him. There is something called a Sheesh Mahal that, you know, BJP has leveled charges against him. He has, I mean, nationally, if you see, and middle class is very aware and it watches news and reads. Nationally, when he's gone into elections, he's played all kinds of tricks that every other political party plays. So he has not, suddenly he has started appearing like every other politician in the country.
Correct.
So he sits with the Congress, with whom he has fought bitter battles in 2012, 2013. His entire campaign was against the Congress.
Right.
And so the middle class started feeling that, okay, this guy is not turning out to be as different as he said he was. And two, then the middle class started, then you start thinking that, okay, fine, if this guy is not the great hope of Indian politics, changing the Indian politics, then what is he giving us? Then, if you see in the last 3 years, Aam Aadmi Party, so what does the middle class get? Actually, middle class gets nothing from any government. Let me tell you that. Middle class is one class which nobody gives a damn about. Because the numbers are somewhere else, so all political parties focus majorly on, okay, so these are the poverty line voters are the ones who are going to, who are not only large in number, but will also go to the polling booth. These guys will go for a vacation on the polling day.
Right.
So, when in the last 3 years, actually governance in Delhi has been really low.
Yeah.
The roads are broken, the sewer lines are overflowing, the colonies are in bad shape, and there is garbage everywhere. Now, these are things that actually matter to the middle class. They say, okay, fine, you're not giving us anything. You're not, my children are not going to your school. I am not taking my wife to your hospital. Okay, the one thing that you can give me is a good road, you know, power supply, hygiene. Sanitation, hygiene. And the problem with Aam Aadmi Party has been that now it is also in the NCT. So it cannot blame that, you know, the garbage is not being picked up by the BJP.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have the municipality, you have the state government. So why isn't my street, my colony clean?
Correct.
That is a question that the middle class will ask. So it says that fine, you have ceased to become the great hope of Indian politics. Okay, you've become like others. And you have not given me the very basic that I demand, that a clean
minimum.
street, my clean colony, garbage being picked up, you know, repaired sewer lines and good roads.
Right.
I am not taking the facility of your school and healthcare anyway.